Am I the a-hole for calling my husband a disgrace after he said my miscarriage ruined his birthday? I miscarried yesterday afternoon at about 12 p.m. I've never had a miscarriage before, and this baby was so wished for, so it's also fresh, and I'm sobbing right now, so I apologize in advance if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My husband turned 27 yesterday. I 26F was pregnant with mine, and my husband's 27M second child. Yesterday, I was 8 weeks pregnant. The day before yesterday, we saw a beautiful heartbeat flicking on the screen, and today I'm devastated. I was playing with our 2-year-old when I felt a pressure in my lower abdomen. Not long later, I noticed bleeding, and I let my husband know immediately that I had discomfort and bleeding. Before long, I had passed what I believe is the fetus, and I messaged him. I think I lost the baby. I wanted to keep him updated, and I guess I was seeking some kind of emotional support. I asked if he could come home, and he said, of course, if it's urgent. I said I think it is because the pain and bleeding is getting worse, and I'm starting to feel lightheaded, and our 2-year-old is unattended in his playroom right now. We have no friends or family near that I could call who would get to us quicker than he could. I had to clean myself up, crawl downstairs to take paracetamol, make my son his lunch, and then put him down for a nap. At this point, my husband still isn't home. He was working approx 30 minutes away and took closer to 60 minutes to get back. Hours later when I asked, it was because he'd stopped at Tesco to pick up some beers. I ended up very poorly, losing lots of blood, lightheaded, vomiting etc., and he had to take me to A&E. By the time I was discharged, it was almost 8 p.m. Last week, I had said I'd make him his favorite dinner for his birthday, which he reminded me when we were almost home. I said I wasn't feeling up to it, and that whatever takeaway he wants is on me. He said, for F's sake, under his breath, and then muttered something along the lines of, this crap has ruined my birthday. He didn't stop to get any takeaway. He just drove straight home. He put our son to bed, and I went to bed, and I'm not sure what he did after. I didn't see him this morning as he had already left for work. He's not messaged me all day, and he got home a few hours ago. It's now 8:40 p.m., and he's been giving me silent treatment. I tried to speak to him about an hour or so ago, and he ignored me, and I called him a disgrace. He slammed the bedroom door and locked me out of the bedroom. His mom has since messaged me and said I need to be patient as he's also had a loss. She didn't ask how I was or anything. He's obviously speaking to his mom, but why isn't he opening up and speaking to me? She said I was harsh. I'm feeling utterly emotionally neglected right now. My body has been through emotional and physical hell. I understand that my miscarriage came at an inconvenient time for him as it was his birthday and all. I'm not sure if it's the hormones making me feel crazy, but is it nuts to contemplate divorce? Am I the a-hole for calling him a disgrace? Top comments. Important, you are still at risk of infection at this juncture. It's still dangerous for you. Monitor your bleeding and temperature. Your marriage is over. How long you stay with him is up to you. But this man is neither husband nor father material. He cares more about his wants than your or your child's needs. It took a crisis like this to show who he really is. Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry you are going through all this. Opie replies, I also have tonsillitis at the moment, so I'm feeling really rough. How will I know if a fever is from that or the miscarriage? I currently have a low-grade fever at 37.9 degrees C, but I'm not sure what it's due to. The bleeding is no longer heavy. Next story. Am I the a-hole for laughing at my stepson and ruining his wedding? Throwaway, shortened for character count. For context, I have been married to my husband for just over 20 years. We started dating when my stepkids were 5 and 3. Our kids are Adam 28, stepkid #1, Ben 26, stepkid #2, Charles 20, David 17, and Ellie 13. Adam is getting married at the end of summer to his fiancée Alice 27. We have all been very excited for them. All of the kids have roles for the wedding. Charles is the best man. The other 2 boys are groomsmen, and Ellie is a junior bridesmaid. Last weekend, we had a dinner for my husband's birthday. All of the kids attended along with Alice. The topic of the wedding came up again, and this is where it started to go downhill. Ellie brought up that she was so excited to go dress shopping. and that we planned to go to a bigger city in a few weeks to get her a dress and me a stepmom of the groom dress. At that, Alice looked at Adam sideways and responded that we only needed to worry about one dress, Ellie's. Ellie kind of laughed and said, "What are you expecting Mom to wear? A suit?" Alice responded with, "My name isn't going. You know we are keeping our guest list very limited to only family and a few close friends." "What?" "Adam and Alice have been to our house numerous times for holidays, dinners, just to say hi since they've been engaged. This has never been brought up." Pretty quickly things escalated. The Cliff Notes version is that Charles asked them to clarify if they were choosing to uninvite me now or if I was never invited. Alice confirmed the latter. "Why?" Adam said it's because I'm not his mom. Charles, David, and Ellie argued with Adam and Alice that none of them were going to go if I wasn't invited. That it was cruel to leave me out given I've been his parent for a majority of his life and loved him like my own. My husband and I admittedly sat there for a minute, just shocked. Adam finally turned to my husband and said, "Well?" My husband told him he wouldn't be going either. Adam then turned to me and asked if I was really going to let everyone ruin his wedding on my behalf. Here's where I might be the a-hole. I just laughed. What came over me, but the entire thing was just so ridiculous that laughing was the only thing I could get out. I told my husband I'd be waiting in the car and left, and then promptly bawled my eyes out. Anyways, Charles, David, and Ellie are not talking to Adam. Adam called my husband yesterday to try and smooth things over. He was still adamant I'm not invited and it's their wedding. He also requested I apologize for laughing at him. My husband told him tough crap. It's their wedding, and they can invite whoever they want, but they can't control who will actually go. He said they owe me an apology and that Adam should be ashamed of himself. I'm getting texts now asking what the F I did and why I'm being a stepmonster and ruining the wedding. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. I feel like there's a lot missing here. You've been married to his dad since he was 8. That was years of elementary, middle, high school, college. 20 years. Is his mother living? Did his fiancée influence him? Just seems odd to not invite his dad's wife of 20 years and call her not family. I don't think you're the a-hole, but I just want to know more about the past 20 years. Opie replies, I am sorry. I had to cut out a lot for the character count to post. When Adam called, my husband did ask him if I had done anything, if it was related to bio-mom she has never gotten along with us, if I had overstepped in any way. Adam says no. It's just they want family only. Stepdad is invited as far as we know. I was a Sam for most of my stepkid's childhood, and we had 50 by 50. My husband has always worked a lot, but has been as involved as possible. The house and child rearing mostly fell to me though. I love our kids to pieces. I thought we had made it clear from the beginning that I am / was another parent that loves them, not a replacement mom. We've never had any issues, and I thought up until now that we were particularly close. Our communication has slowed since he met Alice, but he was calling me about once or twice a week prior to this. Alice and I have gone shopping on occasion, gotten lunch. I even went with her to the florist for the wedding because her mom wasn't available and Adam got called into work. There has to be something / someone causing an issue, and my husband and I are baffled. Next story. Am I the a-hole for listening to music in the car my husband doesn't like after a concert? This weekend, my teen daughter and I went to see Megan Maroney. My husband wanted to come along even though I told him it could be just a girls' night with my daughter and I. He insisted on going because he didn't want us to be out late by ourselves, even though he does not care for Megan's music. So my daughter and I enjoy the concert so much. She was so excited she almost cried from pure joy. Everything was great. Concert ended. We go to our vehicle. My daughter and I are still having a good time, kind of on a post-concert high. I turn one of Megan Maroney's songs on and we start singing along. My husband abruptly turns it off. At first I thought, okay, maybe he just wants some peace as he drives, but he says turn it on something else. I said, why? We were listening to that. He said, well, I don't want to, or someone like that, and starts complaining about how awful Megan Maroney is and how her songs are all man-bashing, etc. I said, whoa buddy, we told you that it could just be a girls' night like you insisted on coming. So we ride home in silence and my daughter is really disappointing. One of our favorite things to do is turn the music on and sing along in the car. Am I the a-hole for wanting to listen to my music after a concert he didn't even want to be at? Top comments. Not the a-hole. I think it's time we put that man on the moon. Next story. Am I the a-hole because we won't let anyone live with us? Background, we have a beautiful 4,200 square foot home in a beautiful neighborhood. We have no children, and it's our happy place. Several years back, we allowed a friend to live with us as she was going through a divorce and moving back to her home state. It ended up being a disaster. She was an alcoholic, and what was supposed to be a few weeks ended up being 6 months before we kicked her out. My husband and I made a pact that no one would be able to stay longer than a visit like Christmas week, etc. Since then, we've had the following. My dad's ex-wife wanted to move in as she was having financial issues. We said no. My uncle wanted us to take in my cousin and her 4 children because she was experiencing homelessness due to her drug problem, and he wanted them to be in a stable environment. So it's okay to make our environment unstable? We said no. Now another friend keeps bringing up moving with us because we have all this room. Again, we said no. Top comments. When I had a house that big, people would come out of the woodwork trying to get space in there. You have to stand your ground to keep your peace. Opie replies, thank you. Yes, it does feel like people come out of the woodwork. We have the most recent friend asking who brings it up all time. We try to make light of it, but it's disappointing to feel bullied. Next story. Am I the a-hole for expressing my disgust at a dish from my girlfriend's culture? My 27M girlfriend 24F is Brazilian, and since we got together, she's been introducing me to her country's cuisine. And I've loved everything she's made, and I've tried so far. But last night, she took me to Brazilian steakhouse, and at some point she asked the waiter for a dish that they didn't serve here, but apparently is a staple in Brazilian barbecues. It was only later she explained to me that she was asking for chicken hearts. And because they didn't have it, she later told me she would try to find it in the Brazilian store she usually goes to and make it at home. But I told her not to bother, and that I wasn't interested in trying it. She couldn't understand why I wasn't interested. So I told her that the whole idea of eating chicken hearts sounded a bit icky. That's the word I remember saying. She later said I told her it was disgusting. So I can't be sure, but the intention is the same anyway. And she got really upset and told me about how eating organs is not unusual in many cultures, and that even if I didn't want to try it, framing it as disgusting was disrespectful on my part. But I only said anything because she kept pushing for an explanation. So I don't know what she expected me to do. To lie? Top comments. Phrasing, my man. Phrasing. You could have said something more neutral like, it's not something I want to try. While I can see other people might enjoy it, it really doesn't sound appealing to me. Or the like. Labeling it as icky probs didn't land well, as you can now tell. No a-hole here. Maybe work on more neutral phrasing though. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend to stop putting castor oil and hair products in her hair right before bed? I 28M have been with my girlfriend 28F for a little over a year. Things are great between us overall. She's smart, funny, kind, and we live together. But there's one issue that's been really bothering me. She has a pretty involved hair care routine, which includes putting castor oil and other hair products in her hair at night, right before getting into bed. Her hair is wet, oily, and heavy with product, and she'll just lie down next to me like that. I really don't like how it feels. It's sticky and uncomfortable when we're close. The smell of the castor oil is strong, and I don't love it. On top of that, it stains the sheets and sometimes my clothes if her hair touches them. It's not a one-time thing. This is a nightly habit. I brought it up gently a few weeks ago. I told her I totally get that her hair routine matters, but that maybe she could do it earlier in the evening or wrap her hair before bed so it doesn't get everywhere. She didn't get mad, but she also hasn't changed anything. It's like it went in one ear and out the other. I'm starting to feel like I'm being inconsiderate by even bringing it up. I know hair care, especially for certain hair types, is a big deal, and I don't want to be the guy who's asking her to compromise on that. But at the same time, I'm genuinely uncomfortable, and it's starting to affect how I feel in our shared space. So, am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. Maybe she could use a bonnet. Doesn't do anything for the smell, but at least you don't get stains. Not the a-hole, but she needs to wrap her hair up. A bonnet will be more comfortable than a towel, and it's more beneficial to her than not wrapping it, as it will help lock the oils in as it warms up. She doesn't need to do this nightly though. Once a week would be enough. She needs to compromise if she's going to be sleeping with you. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel our posts.